to my YouTube channel Code Breaker. Please do like and subscribe if you like the concept. So today we are going to learn about the concept hoisting, hoisting in the JavaScript. So what is hoisting? Hoisting is nothing but it is a kind of a process where we can access the value of a variable or a function even before it is being initialized. That means like JavaScript declarations are moved to the top of their scope before the code execution. So we will see one example with respect to the variable and the functions, where we will see how the JavaScript executes the uh, value of any of the variable or the function. So let us write some example to understand the concept of the hoisting. So we'll go with the basic concept, like how we write the variable declaration, initialize some value, and then we will write some method, and then we will see how the hoisting works. Okay. So suppose we define one of the variable as a variable a, and here we declare some value 10. Okay, now we will try to log this value as a, and suppose we will see for the method also function get name, and we will log the, you can say that get channel name, anything we can write, and here we will give code. So now if we try to call this method and see how does it work, what we will do, we'll reload this URL and see in the console. So we are getting 10 and then code breaker, which is nothing but the we are first initializing one of the variable as a var a and then consoling this value which is printing 10, and here we are declaring one method and then calling this method in order to get the value or the any of the method or any of the operation which is defined inside this method. Now if you see right here, variable has been initialized with a10 and then we are consoling this value. Now in the hoisting, what it happens, if we try to access this value before it is being initialized, and the same with the method. So here is the concept comes for the hoisting. So suppose if we try to access any of the value of a variable with the var keyword, I will come into the let and const also. First we will understand how this works with the var keyword. So suppose if we declare any of the variable with var a and initialize some value as a 10 or anything, but here the concept hoisting, what does it do? It it tries to access the value of a variable before it has been initialized. Similar for the method. The method uh, declaration has been defined later before it has been invoked. So if we do like this, what it will happen, we will see that what it will happen. I'll put some debugger into the sources and we will see where it goes actually, and then we will get to know how the hoisting concept works. So if we try to value of a variable, and then as soon as you see right, this is into the global scope, and if you see the value of a variable a is undefined, and similarly for the channel name also, this method is also in the global scope and nothing has been printed here in the console. So as soon as we will start moving to the next line, I think it has been not been saved. One second, huh? We will save this and we will reload this, and Now we'll see the A is undefined and get channel name is declared in the global scope. So the value of A would be, right now it is undefined. So here the value of A is being hoisted before it has been initialized with the sum concept. This is how the hoisting works. uh, Even though if you are trying to access any of the variable before it has been initialized or declared, then with this concept we can say value of variable a is being hoisted. In any other programming language you will get an error if you try to access any of the value of a variable before it has been declared or before it has been initialized, you will get an error. But in JavaScript this concept is known as a hoisting concept. So if you see right here, value of a is undefined and it is into the global scope. So if you see in the console, it is being undefined. It got printed multiple times, but it would be undefined. Now if we try to access the value of a and press enter, you see that this value is undefined instead of throwing an error, because this is the concept for the hoisting. Now if we go to next line and if we try to access the method before it has been declared, so here also it will not throw the error because this is into the global scope, and this will print the value of oh, it will call this method. So if you see right here, code breaker is being called because because this function is getting hoisted. So here that is the concept of the hoisting. So if you try to access any of the variable or the method before it has been declared or initialized, it is still accessible. So the concept here comes like value is being value of a variable and the method is being hoisted. Now considering as an example, if we try to declare any of the variable with let or the const. So suppose I define one of the variable as a let b equal to 30, or you can declare in the string also let b equal to 30. So now what will happen if we try to access the value of b? Console.log b, and if we reload this, so what you will see, the value of a is being hoisted and it is into the global scope. So now if you see right, b is not into the global scope. So here the locally scope, you can say, like it has been into this temporal dead zone. So if you try to access this variable, it will say like value cannot be accessed before it has been initialized. So here you can say something like that the value of any of the variable which has been declared in the as a let or const, it goes into the temporal dead zone. It can be hosted, but it goes into the temporal dead zone. That is the reason we get the error as a cannot be accessible before it has been initialized. So now you might be thinking this is the error uh, we generally used to get when we define any of the value uh, which is not accessible. So no, the here the example shows like any of the value which is not be accessible is different with respect to the any of the value which is not defined. So these are the two different errors. So suppose if I try to show it b, okay, so it's not moving to the line number. not defined and not accessible are the two different errors. Here it's since the value of b is in temporal dead zone, that is the reason it's showing as a value of b is not accessible. As soon as it moves to the global scope, it the value of b would be accessible. Suppose if you define this value after getting initialized, then you can see value has been value is being accessible. Just I'll show you in the debugger. So now it is in temporal dead zone. Now if you go to next line, a is undefined. As you can see, a is undefined. And now if you move to b, it has been initialized. And now if you see the value of b, it has been initialized with one of the value as a 30. So now if you try to access this value, there won't be any problem to print this value, and the method name has been already been accessible. So this is the difference with respect to the any of the value in hosting concept, which is declared with a var keyword can be hosted, and it would be in global scope. That is the reason we get the value as a undefined. But any of the value which has been defined with let or const, I will show you with respect to the const also. So suppose I declare one value as a const c equal to 40, or you can directly access this value instead of giving to the string. And if you try to access this value, it would be again it going to the temporal dead zone. And here if we try to print this value and see where it goes, so if you can see, right, both b and c goes to the temporal dead zone, because both let and const variable cannot be hosted directly, but it goes into the temporal dead zone as a theory of the JavaScript, where let and const can be hosted, but in that would be present into the temporal dead zone. That is the reason B and C is seen in over the temporal dead zone instead of global scope. Just like a variable a and the function which we have defined as a get channel name. So this is the concept for the uh, hosting with respect to the declaration of a variable and the method. As you can see, right, value of a c cannot be accessed. It is being initialized into the temporal dead zone, but it is not accessible. So that is the reason we can say uh, var keyword, any of the value of a variable with a var keyword can be hosted along with the channel name, any of the method which has been defined uh, with a normal declaration function channel name. It can be accessible. It can value with var keyword also can be accessible, but with let and const it is accessible, but it is present declaration is present over the temporal dead zone. That is the reason it we get the error as a it is not accessible. So guys, hope you might have got the concept for the hoisting. So if you like the video, please do subscribe my channel. That's it for hoisting concept. Thank you.